Need some more Chex Mix. Oh shit! Hey guys, how we doing? Hi. Oh shit! I forgot this is filled with cheese powder and shit. What's up, guys? It's your boy Lil Magurov, aka Mito. How we doing, man? We doing good. We doing good. Y'all want Chex Mix? Y'all want some Chex Mix? Checky. Check the Chex Mix, nigga. This should put it up. Sorry. I was so close to the mic when I did that. Damn, these are good. Okay, I gotta save these for when we're watching the video. Lil Magurov. I'm Mito. Also Lil Magurov. My name's Mito. I make reaction content. I react to videos and shit. And today, no different. Today I decided, as I'm scrolling through my YouTube, I got a video recommended to me from a channel called Willie Mac. Or at least the Willie Mac Show. And it was called "This Dr. Disrespect is Unironically Evil" skull emoji. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had so many arguments about this conversation with Dr. Disrespect because all his fans are still crazy over him. If you don't know who Dr. Disrespect is, just like as a little bit of a background, he was a very well-known streamer. Started off on Twitch. He was very famous in like the Call of Duty sphere. He played a lot of Warzone with like people like Nick Merckx or like Tim the Tatman, and, like, you know, kind of people like that. And he got exposed after a while. Well, first he got banned on Twitch, and for like, I forgot what year it was, but for like a couple of years, nobody had any clue why the fuck he got banned. Mind you, people get banned on Twitch all the time, but it's not like permanent bans. They're usually like 1 week, 2 week bans, maybe a month, you know, if it's really bad. But like another like super permanent, like permanent bans were usually because like you really fucked up, like you really did some fuck shit, or you were just like actually naked on stream. And even then, they Twitch let a lot of really fucking sexual shit go on their platform, especially with the hot tub streams and shit. So like what I'm trying to say is like it takes a lot to get perma banned on Twitch. And he got permanently banned for a while. I forgot what year it was, but for like maybe like 2-3 years, I don't remember how long. We didn't know why he got banned. We just knew he was banned. He didn't go into detail about it. He said that there's gonna be a lawsuit and like all this shit. And this was like fresh after too that he got like a whole sponsorship deal with Twitch that was like well into the 100,000s, I'm pretty sure. Like he was really something. He was really something on Twitch, and then he got banned. And then a couple years later, we ended up finding out why he got banned. And he got banned because it was alleged that he had inappropriate conversations with a minor on the Twitch Whispers, which is the messages you can send on Twitch. They call them Twitch Whispers. And that's why he got banned. Well, Dr. Disrespect, he went to court with Twitch over the whole banning thing, and they ended up settling out of court, and they said that there was no wrongdoing found on either party, basically. And so, you know, he made his comeback, being like, "Look, guys, we're cool, we're fine, we're vibey," you know. And I know I'm super like condensing like what happened into a really like general, like in a really like in a huge like general sense, but like one, I don't remember exactly what happened, and two, I'm not gonna explain everything. But he came back, he said no wrongdoing was found. Some people, a lot of his fans were like, "Hell yeah, let's go, Dr. Disrespect." And some people were like, just because you settled out of court and just because they say no wrongdoing was found on either party doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't those inappropriate texts being sent. And people are like, nah, because if he was guilty of sending those inappropriate texts, he should be in jail. And people are like, not necessarily. Probably just means he didn't do enough to like render him needing to go to jail. Doesn't mean that he didn't do the shit. And so there's been a huge back and forth in the online community about whether or not he did it, you know, or if he's guilty or not. And Dr. Disrespect himself doesn't make it any more helpful, because people are just like, hey, if nothing bad happened, just just show us the text. Like, take a screenshot. The court case is over. You don't have to hide anything. Just cover her name so nobody harasses her, and show us the messages that were used in the court case. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And so people are like, that sounds like you're fucking guilty. So that's kind of where we are right now. Like I said, I'm really condensing that story down to like a real like general sense of this of everything that happened. Into it, you know. So I could be missing shit, but I'm assuming Willie Mac's gonna go through most of it in this video. So as always, this video from Willie Mac will be in the description below. So make sure y'all click the description, come back over here, show him some love. And for me, if you stick around, if you like this kind of content, consider leaving me a like, comment, and subscribe. And let's just get right to it, man.
2 months ago, Dr. Disrespect was eating a cupcake.
I'm gonna eat my cupcake and I'm gonna celebrate. Nothing you're gonna do about it.
I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake.
When he was exposed by an ex-Twitch employee for messaging a minor and allegedly trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. Doc responded by admitting he inappropriately messaged a minor and then he fled on vacation for 2 months.
I'm actually tired of being on social media.
Upon his return, he would say that he purposely made himself look like a pedo to bait journalists. He's been playing chess this whole time.
You also...
I fucking forgot about that, dude. I forgot about that. He made a tweet, like basically saying, at first it said, was there text with a minor? Yes. And then he like elaborated where he was like, you know, oh, but were they, or no, he said, were there inappropriate text with a minor? He said, yes. And he said, but then, you know, he tried to elaborate and be like, but nothing happened. There was no picture sent, whatever. And then he went back to that same tweet, because people could see when you edit your tweet, it shows that it was edited, and it shows specifically what parts of the original tweet were edited. And so when he went back to the tweet and he edited the word minor out of the tweet, that's basically it. And people saw that he edited his tweet and took out the word minor and called him out for it, and were like, yo, why'd you first say there was a minor and now you're trying to edit the tweet and say that and take it out and try to make it look like there wasn't a minor involved? And then his excuse for doing that was, oh, I did it so that way the internet would get bamboozled and there would be it was like a disguise, it was like a decoy type shit, you know what I mean? And he was like, oh, I did it to bait the journalists to write a fugazi story so you can see how fucking stupid these journalists are, or some shit. Like, it was like some dumbass shit where he was like, oh, I meant to do that on purpose, that was all part of my fucking plan. And it's just like, bro, right, it's so stupid. Because whenever I had these back and forths with his fans and I tell them, like, why would he make a tweet confessing to doing what he's being alleged to doing and then go back and edit it and take out the part where it says minor, explain it? And they're like, you guys are just falling for the bait. He said that he did that on purpose so people would write, or so that way the journalists would write a fucking fake, not a fake news, but they would write a news article about it, and he baited everybody. It was to bait the internet. And it's like, if you're being accused of being a weirdo, a PDF file, right? Because it's alleged that you had inappropriate conversations with a minor. What logical sense does it make to be like, you know how I get them, you know how I get back at them? I'm gonna make it look like I was doing it. I'm gonna make the whole world believe I was a minor. I was inappropriately texting minors. That's what I'm gonna do. Yup. Oh, they're saying that I'm a PDF file for doing it? Cool. I'm gonna bait them and make them believe I really did do it. Ha! Fell for my trap card. Like, who the fuck? Who does that? Nobody. That's why it's stupid to believe. That's why I don't believe it actually happened.
Said the word
or like not it actually happened, but like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I don't believe that was his plan. I believe he initially made the tweet confessing to it, got a lot of backlash for it, and then went back and then tried to like take out the word minor and thought nobody was gonna notice. And then when everybody noticed, was like, I meant to do that so you guys would make a story about it. See, you guys just want to see me at my worst. And it's like, dude, no, no, shut the fuck up.
Minor, Cody.
He's been playing chess this whole time.
You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs.
The logic makes no sense. It's comical. At one point, he starts to compare him messaging a minor to a guy saying the N-word.
Take a look at some of these horrendous acts of Twitch streamers that were never banned. I've got some examples right here. A streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming.
And for the second time this year, the most incriminating part of the Dr. Disrespect allegations is coming from Dr. Disrespect himself, acknowledging that he did message a minor.
And I'm not denying the exchange of whispers, champs.
It was inappropriate, but she was above the age of consent in her state, so it's fine.
Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received.
Despite all of this,
I'm putting this out there. If you're pressing somebody for being inappropriate with a minor, and their first and only defense is, well, technically in the state or area she's in, 17 or 16 is the age of consent. It happened. Nobody in their right mind, when they're being accused of doing anything inappropriate with somebody underage, immediately goes, yeah, but in Georgia, age of consent 16, so even if it did happen, guys, age of consent 16 in that area. No, your line of defense is you're fucking dumb. That never happened. Suck a dick. Show me where it happened, because it didn't happen. Like, anybody who gets accused of doing weird shit like this, and they know it never happened, they don't defend themselves by by trying to use age of consent laws. They just say it never happened. Suck a dick. You know what I mean? So that definitely also made me feel weird about it when his defense for it was, oh, they banned me instead of fucking what you guys saw, what he said right there. When he said this shit, I was like, oh no, nah, bro, you guilty. You went straight for the age of consent laws, bro. You guilty as sin, bro. Hell no.
The age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received.
Despite all of this, Dr. Disrespect came back to a loving audience that ate up his story. Over 200,000 live viewers.
I love the Champions Club. That's one thing that just stands out. We're actually real people here.
And it's because of the horrendous way Twitch and gaming journalists have handled this entire situation. This is a story filled with lies, backstabs, and demeaning people for asking the right questions.
People want
Show the message. Release the messages. Show the messages.
what are we in second grade?
But ultimately, it does provide us.
I like how showing messages is somehow us being childish. No, that's what do you think? What, do you think the fucking judge and the jury in the court case were childish when they said, show us the messages? No, it just makes logical sense. Okay, if it didn't happen, right? You didn't send anything inappropriate. You didn't do the shit that you're being accused of. Okay, blur out her name and show us the messages. The same messages that are in the court case. You can easily prove that the messages you're showing are the same messages that are in the court case because everything's documented. Show us. But he won't do it. Why? Probably because he's fucking guilty. So I like how somehow showing evidence and proof that you didn't do it and showing it to the audience is somehow the audience being childish. It's cope because he's guilty.
With enough information to finally have the full story when it comes to Dr. Disrespect's Twitch ban. It's disturbing, it's gross, like the crust and dust in your ancient computer that blue screens all the time. You don't have to live like this anymore. Meta PCs is the gold standard for pre-built gaming computers, putting together some of the cleanest builds out there. And my favorite part about Meta is how you can tailor the build to your liking, picking out the exact graphics card and CPU without having to waste time searching for a good deal online. And the customization is amazing. This is the PC I received from Meta a year ago, and hot damn is it sexy. This thing's quality, and I've been so happy I bought my laptop from them using my own dime. And you could customize everything, custom printed graphics card, cases, backplates, so it's the way you want inside and out. It's beautiful, and it runs Premiere and After Effects better than any Apple laptop I've owned. It's a beast. But if you don't have time to wait, Meta has a wide array of ready-to-ship PCs that leave the next business day after they're ordered. Everything is clean, organized, and ready to go right out of the box. All I had to do was plug in the graphics card, which Meta has a step-by-step YouTube video on, and even a manual to help me out. Look, if you're going to be spending PC money, make sure it's done by people who take pride in their work. They have financing for everyone, whether you have great credit or no credit at all. So use code Willie with your link in the description to get a special discount when you order your Meta PC. Thank you, Meta PCs, for sponsoring this video. I find it hilarious that Doc is trying to frame himself as a super genius at the moment when his entire downfall is due to his own actions. When the Dr. Disrespect allegations first aired, most reasonable people were willing to wait for Doc's response before forming an opinion. At this time, former Twitch staff was giving testimonies and it seemed like the messages were going to leak, so Dr. Disrespect gave a statement coming clean. I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the effing bullshit. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind those messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned a bit too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. So when Doc was 35 years
See, that's the tweet I was talking about. He fully confesses that yes, there were inappropriate messages with a minor. Yes, his defense was, but I wasn't serious though. So.
Old and actively cheating on his wife, he admits to inappropriately messaging a minor. Yeah, you just gotta read in between the lines a little bit there to see what's happening. His own friends abandoned him.
He was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate if he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent. I cannot support that.
He was texting an underage girl and it went weird sometimes, you know, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right?
That should be a wrap.
Yeah, bro, and the fact too that when Tim and Nick did that, people were like getting on their ass, being like, "Wow, you guys are such fake friends. How dare you backstab Doc like that when he's done so much for you guys?" And it's like, bro, what do you mean backstab, bro? Like at the end of the day, these guys have to fucking. They have their own morals and shit, bro. Like, it makes sense that they wouldn't want to fuck with somebody who literally openly confessed to having inappropriate messages with a minor. Like, he said it out of his own mouth. It's not like, oh, fucking these guys on Twitter said it or these guys over here said it and now that's the consensus. No, he came out of his own mouth, or at least his own little fingertips, and was like, yes, I did do this shit. Yes, it did happen. Yes. I didn't mean it though, basically. I still don't understand how people try to shit on Tim and Nick for standing on business, bro, standing on their morals. It's crazy. I won't lie, I became a fan of Nick and Tim when they did that shit, because it showed me like, yeah, bro, fuck it. It doesn't matter how popular one of your friends is and how cutting off that relationship would affect your career. There's just some shit morally you gotta stand on that shit, bro, and that's one of them. I respect that shit.
The problem is, the messages never leaked. The people who saw the messages spoke anonymously about it, saying the girl made aware that they were underage during the conversation, after which Doc reiterated that it was no problem and continued on. There was no confusion. Messages sent out here were no less graphic or sexually explicit in nature than before. Saying it was more than the word inappropriate might indicate. And although it provides some insight, it's anonymous. No public-facing person has seen the messages. Not Cody, not the journalist who spearheaded the story. His credibility can only go so far. In fact, Slasher, the main journalist behind this story, would go on his San stream and spew out unverified information that would be proven wrong less than 2 hours later.
I did get a DM about an hour ago from someone who lives in Encientes, near Rancho Santa Fe. That is the area that Dr. Disrespect lives in.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a screenshot from his next door, which is in that area. And there is a comment that says, "We just saw Dr. Disrespect in handcuffs. He lives right there." I assuming it has something to do with the accusation.
This allegation would be revealed as completely fabricated. This guy calls himself a journalist. He's the best thing to ever happen to Doc. So the stage was set for Dr. Disrespect's comeback. All he had to do was recontextualize his statement and call the Twitch staff liars. But what I didn't expect was him to incriminate himself even more. Him teasing his return was insane. First, he posted a picture of him playing chess. "Doc, is you getting canceled for being a pedo a game to you? Is this all part of your plan, huh?" People responded by showing that Doc was playing a kid. Doc would continue to tease that this was all part of his master plan. He wanted people to think he was a pedophile. He would change his Twitter wallpaper to a bobber, with his tweet admitting to the allegations being the bait. It was at this point I realized that Dr. Disrespect eats crayons and he's hoping that we all eat crayons too. This master plan of his makes no sense. He thinks we're all stupid. The day before his stream, he posted a hype video of him driving a boat.
This motherfucker thinks he's like Kendrick or some shit. What the fuck? Bro, you had one job. Shut the fuck up. I'm just saying, I'm glad he did incriminate himself like this, so people know exactly who they're fucking following and who they're fans of. That's fine by me. Expose yourself as much as you want, but on a more common sense side of things, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, this motherfucker sat here and thought he was like Kendrick or something, bro, and he was like fucking playing people and having secret messages and shit. Like, bro, I don't understand how anybody sits here and believes that having the entire internet calling him a fucking weirdo and PDF file was somehow a fucking master chess move. That, you know what's funny about that too? Him doing that? I just thought of this. This is the same shit that we flamed Drake for. Because that's what Drake said in the Heart Part 6. The fucking, oh, this Epstein shit is the shit, or this Epstein angle is the shit I expected. And motherfuckers were like, you wanted people to believe that you were weird with children or weird with minors? Did you think this is a chess? Like, why? It's the same shit we flamed Drake for. And now it's just Dr. Disrespect. It's so stupid, bro. It's just not a chess move, bro. So stupid. People hype themselves up too much, bro. They got too much confidence in themselves sometimes. Sometimes the best thing to do for you is to shut the fuck up.
Teasing that he's coming back to streaming. People would joke that he's returning from Epstein's Island. Doc did not like that. His return stream was huge. When I was watching, it peaked at over 220,000 live viewers. The VOD is sitting at over 3 million. Everyone is dying to know, what is Doc's defense? It's him playing word games, defending himself from allegations that were never made. He addresses the allegations as if they're a joke.
Elephant in the room, Doc. We're waiting.
Oh my God. Oh God. It's the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the thing I've ever.
Just relax, man.
He spends most of the time being mad at Cody for leaking why he was banned.
Cody, why do this? What was the point? And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. I mean, for what?
The problem isn't that Cody leaked it. The problem is that Dr. Disrespect let people find out this way. Bro, you had 4 years to tell people, and instead you let them believe in all of these false conspiracies. You were being sneaky about it. He threatens to sue Cody.
Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time? Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me, Cody Connors?
Cody never signed anything. It was simply relaying why Doc was banned from Twitch. Cody didn't lie anywhere.
The fact that bro, like, you try to defend your whole reputation in the world, and you thought you could fucking double time the two-time? Like, what the fuck? He got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in then existing Twitch whispers. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. Right.
This is exactly why Doc was banned. Doc would never win a defamation case with this. Doc's main defense is to play semantics. When Doc gets accused of sexting a minor, he doesn't deny it. Instead, he redefines the word.
You didn't have any firsthand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch. You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is?
Doc's not the—
That is not a good defense. That is not a good defense, dude. That is not a good defense. Do you even know the real definition of a pedophile? That is not a defense, dude. That is not a defense, dude. That's not a defense. That's the same thing as what I just said. Me a pedophile? Do you even know the real legal definition of that word? Like, dude, okay, again, if we have to go to the legit definition, if we have to resort to definitions or age of consent laws, I'm not saying that you're for sure guilty. I mean, I was saying that you're guilty this whole time. I personally believe you are guilty. You might not outright say, yes, I'm guilty, but that's not a good defense. You are definitely showing that you could possibly be guilty, because that is a questionable defense. Again, any normal person who gets accused of this shit is just going to say, no. And not only that, they're also going to turn around and be like, hey, guess what, buddy? Who the fuck said this shit about me? You're getting sued. Just flat out, you're getting sued. You, Twitch, everybody, sued. Defamation. I don't give a fuck. Y'all niggas spreading straight up lies, bro. No, you're getting sued. But you also, you just also don't resort to definitions or laws. You're just like, it didn't happen. Prove it. Like, literally prove it. And you would also go out of your way to show the messages. Again, this would all be completely dead in the water if Doc would just show the messages. Easy. That's the easiest way to completely get past all of this. Show the messages.
denying sexually messaging a minor here. Instead, he redefines it to be about the legal definition of sexting, which is exchanging images or video. Out of the 3 allegations to come out against Dr. Disrespect, none of them accused him of sending or receiving pictures. Twitch whispers don't even allow that. If he did that, he'd be in jail. Doc pretty much entirely sticks to a legal argument because that's all he's got. Hey guys, I may have flirted with a minor, but at least she didn't send me CP. What a defense.
You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs.
He is unironically going with the narrative that he purposely made himself look like a pedo. Am I supposed to believe that? He lost his gaming company, his bourbon company, was dropped from the 49ers, and was kicked out of the YouTube partner program. But hey, Doc, at least you got the journalist as well as most of the online world to think that you sexually message teenagers. You really did win.
You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended.
But you're wrong. I tried to meet her at the McDonald's across the street from TwitchCon. Fuck you, Cody. So stupid.
To meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever.
This is the first and only time Doc ever outright denies an allegation. The anonymous Twitch employee alleged that they talked about meeting up at TwitchCon. Now, Doc has relied on a lot of technicalities for his defense, but he hasn't outright lied. In fact, he's actually been pretty truthful if you really pay attention. So he could be telling the truth here. We'd have to see the messages to come to a more accurate conclusion.
What they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting.
Again, this is Doc relying on legal technicalities to defend his actions. Nobody ever alleged that Doc did anything illegal. You don't have to do something illegal to get banned from a social media website, and you don't have to do something illegal for it to still be wrong.
Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM. I'll say it again. Neither I nor the...
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro. That's crazy. Technically, nothing I said counts as sexting, so it's fucking crazy. Show the messages.
Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images.
Wow, the bar is so low.
Cody Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened.
He's doing it again. Nobody ever alleged that he exchanged photos. You can't exchange photos over Twitch whispers. Nobody thought that. This is when Doc's dishonesty becomes clear. He's going to misrepresent allegations.
Well, I mean, I will say, in a wild turn here, boys, I'm gonna throw a defense here at Doc's way here, Dr. Disrespect's way. Usually when you hear the term sexting, that is usually people do kind of in their mind assume that there was images being sent back and forth. So like, I get why he's harping on this point. He's really trying to drive this point home, though it doesn't make anything better for him. It's just, I guess I can kind of see why he's trying to like specifically be like, oh, but there's no images, because usually when you hear the term sexting, usually people assume there was like images and shit sent back and forth. So that's like the only defense I'll give Doc. But like I said, even then, this doesn't help him at all. Like, I don't know why you would really want to drive this point home to be like, technically everything I sent in those messages did not qualify as sexting. They went over it in the court case, so fuck you guys. It's like, okay, it doesn't mean that, like he said, just because you weren't legally found guilty of doing a crime doesn't necessarily mean what you were doing was right either. So, you know what I'm saying? So
call them lies when in reality they line up pretty accurately to his own story.
I even used the word inappropriate purposely, and look at how it's defined by everyone, champs, huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
Doc is straight up rewriting history. He's already described the messages himself as a moral wrong. In his initial statement, Doc says, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult.
This tweet really fucked this whole thing up for him, bro. Like, this whole tweet fucked his shit up, because he probably could have gotten away with doing some shit like this, and like people, it still would have been like, we don't really know. You had some people that definitely believed he did it, or some people that were like, nah, he didn't do it. But at that point it was like, people making their judgments based on how they feel about the whole situation, and that's it. But this whole tweet, it just completely fucks him up, because every time he tries to make a stance on some shit, people just resort back to this tweet where he's like, I did nothing wrong, whatever, fuck you guys, basically. I played you, but I did nothing wrong. And then you go back to this tweet where he's, one, confesses to doing the shit, and then two, doubles down on the fact that he believes it was morally wrong, and he'll take responsibility and accountability to make it to right his wrongs. He just should have shut the fuck up, bro. He really should have.
A husband and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision to ban me in 2020. So is Twitch really in the wrong when Doc himself describes the situation as a moral wrong that Doc as the adult should have had better judgment on? No, of course not. You should get banned for this. Doc is backpedaling this statement because it makes his audience feel better about watching him.
How would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words?
I also have inappropriate messages on my phone, but none of them are to minors. I feel like we keep forgetting that key component here. Doc then tries to spin a narrative that his ex-partner manager was out to get him, and that's why he was banned.
We got zero support from this guy. And it was just so obvious that he carried a grudge against the two-time. So after we signed with Twitch in 2019, we asked for a new partner manager. And just a few months later, that ex-Twitch partner manager is directly involved with getting me banned. Coincidence? The Twitch user tells this ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. But this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged.
Unless you think it's okay to sexually message someone who's under 18 years old, I don't see the relevance of this story. If you just don't send the messages, you don't get banned. Why is that so much to ask for?
LER analyst cherry picks and sends a few targeted excerpts out of context from the whisper messages to this director. Now, if you do this, you can make anyone's messages look inappropriate, even when they aren't.
But you called them inappropriate, something that should have never happened, that you need to take more responsibility for. So which is it?
The NCMEC. Twitch submits that report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guess what? As far as I know, and over 4 years have passed, they didn't do anything with the report. As far as I know, they didn't escalate Twitch's report to law.
I'm also gonna just put this out there too. It's very odd to me that you're trying to explain a very serious allegation that's being put against your entire reputation that has the potential to, and it has already affected your entire career, and you're still in full disguise. Not even I don't disguise, but I guess costume, I guess was what you'd call this whole thing. He's got like the whole Dr. Disrespecting. Like, I don't know. You would think that like addressing heavy allegations would kind of, call for a bit more of a professional kind of, image of like, all right, guys, we're putting the whole Dr. Disrespect costume down. This is real shit that we're about to talk about. I'm not talking to you as Dr. Disrespect. I'm talking to you as whatever the fuck his name is. And there would be more of a professional kind of thing going on here. It strikes me very odd that even through these heavy allegations, he's still in full Dr. Disrespect costume. Like to me, it's almost like he just really, and I mean, he clearly doesn't take it all that seriously, with the way he's talking about it and trying to defend himself. But it just really to me, it just rubs me the wrong way. Like it really shows me that he doesn't think this is serious and doesn't care that what he did. He doesn't really care and doesn't really feel bad about what he did. Like he's just kind of, he doesn't give a fuck, I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Law enforcement.
He acts like this is some big revelation. Twitch has to do this according to federal law. If Twitch finds inappropriate messages involving a minor, they are legally obligated to escalate it to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. If the messages aren't illegal, meaning no images or videos were sent, then nothing happens. It's a standard operation. Yet he keeps bringing up the legality as if the only thing people care about is whether it's legal or not.
The same people that made this decision at Twitch admit internally that the messages did not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted they did not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received.
He thought this made...
Then I must say it again. Show the messages. The fact he refuses to show the messages is, to me, just shows that he's guilty. That's all I can think. if you really feel like you were wrongfully terminated from Twitch, because being terminated from Twitch, it did have a heavy effect on his career and on his reputation and his money. Show the text, show the people, you know, because I mean, don't get me wrong, the court of law is one thing, but the court of public opinion is, especially in his career, is way more important than the court of law. So show the court of public opinion, hey guys, these are the messages that Twitch decided to ban me on, and I went to court over. Do you guys see anything inappropriate with it? And if there's genuinely nothing inappropriate with it, then guess what? Not only do you clear your name, but now you have the entire public backing you, because if you don't think the public would not back you and get at Twitch for banning you for no reason, if it's true, like if you show the messages and nothing, and like there's nothing in there and they banned you for basically bullshit, you don't think the public's gonna have your back? Especially to Twitch too. Oh, they would have your back in a heartbeat. You know how quick Twitch would reinstate your account if you outed the messages and were like, these are the messages that they banned me for. There's nothing wrong in here. The public would go crazy for you. But he just refuses to show the messages because he knows he was wrong. At the end of the day, like Willie Mack said earlier in the video, just because you weren't found guilty on something doesn't mean what you did wasn't wrong. Show the messages.
Made him sound good. Again, this is an admission of guilt. He's acknowledging that she was a minor. Also, if these messages weren't sexual, then why would the age of consent interstate matter? Duck seems to spend a lot of time on that.
So then why did Twitch use these messages against me?
Because you sexually messaged a minor, and that's a terrible look for $1 billion company.
Why did Twitch treat the doc so differently from their other streamers?
They didn't. In 2020, Twitch started an initiative where viewers could report allegations about streamers, saying, we take accusations of sexual harassment and misconduct extremely seriously. We are actively looking into accounts concerning streamers affiliated with Twitch and will work with law enforcement where applicable. During this time, over 70 allegations surfaced, leading to dozens of Twitch bans, like Zero, Nairo, Method Josh, and Shinshin. Doc is one of many streamers that got caught. He wasn't some special target by his manager. None of these other people were ever charged, and they all talk just like Doc.
Now, I need to make this very clear to everybody watching this video. I have never received explicit images from any underage individual. I have never sent explicit images to any underage individual. I have never made travel arrangements with ulterior motives with any underage individual.
But he did message a minor inappropriately.
Katie sarcastically asks him if he wants a girl that bad, to which he responds that he wants her. She questions him, but he tells her not to worry and fulfill his request.
Since they weren't arrested because text messages aren't illegal, they claim that they didn't do anything wrong. This is always the defense.
And trust me, we've worked hard for over a decade to improve as a person, a husband, and father, and to get where we're at today. I mean, I'm in such a good place today. And all these people, they all act like they're just so perfect. I'm not perfect.
Apparently asking a streamer to not message a minor, it's too much. It's demanding they be perfect. Doc would then compare what he did to someone who said the N-word.
They wanted to cut down the Doc. Plain and simple. Take a look at some of these horrendous acts of Twitch streamers that were never banned. I've got some examples right here. A streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming, which constitutes a violation of Twitch's policies if accompanied by hateful intent. Twitch scheduled a meeting with the streamer to ascertain his intent to determine whether his conduct was a violation of Twitch's policies, ultimately determining it was not a breach of Twitch's policies.
Hey, Doc may be a...
Yeah, bro, I would rather have some white streamer say the N-word than Doc potentially getting with a fucking minor. Like, there's just two different things going on, dude. Like, there's just two completely different things going on. And the only reason why things didn't escalate further in Dr. Disrespect's case is because he was outed. So, like, imagine if Twitch didn't give a fuck about any of the sexual misconduct allegations and shit like that, and they just let the shit slide. Imagine how much worse the situation could have been, because they probably would have met up at some point. Like, dude, like, this situation could have got way worse if Twitch didn't step in and do their thing, bro. Like, way worse than some streamer saying the N-word, bro. Like, I don't know how you could try to defend yourself with this. That's crazy. But that lets you know he's literally going tit for tat with Twitch. He's literally going tit for tat with streamers. He's trying to be like, well, if I'm going down, all you going down. But the problem is, the only people that are going down with him are people who did the same shit that he did. Everybody else it's just not the same thing.
Pedophile, but at least he's not a racist.
Example number 2. Streamer was reported for discussing doing things with deceased animals and discussing pedophilia, all while live streaming. Never suspended, but instead given a multi-million-dollar contract.
The obfuscation is crazy. Doc, if you joked about messaging a minor, that would be fine. The problem is you actually did it.
Streamer was reported for a sexually explicit stream involving children and telling children to send Snapchats of them playing with themselves. Never suspended, but instead, given a multi-million-dollar contract.
That person belongs in jail then. But who are you talking about? Doc never names them because odds are his retelling of the story is inaccurate. Doc then cries about having to lay people off.
We just lost... fuck, man. Unfortunately, we have to lay off people from Midnight Society.
Again, it's all your fault. Am I
say, bro, you have to lay off people from your fucking company because you wanted to text a minor. That's your fault. What the fuck?
Supposed to feel bad?
And I'm not denying the exchange of whispers, champs. I'm not denying that to all of you out there. It looks bad. I have no way of knowing if the Twitch user thought our exchange of whispers was inappropriate. If it was, I apologize. That's it.
That's it? Show the messages. You got that big ass screen behind you. Walk us through it like a goddamn teacher with the projection screen. Walk us through it. Oh, he literally just said, I don't know if the person who received the messages thought that they were inappropriate. I had no idea. And if they did think that, then I'm sorry. Then you show the messages and be like, all right, so this is where I asked you guys, chat. Do these messages look inappropriate? If the chat says no, okay, then you guys see my case. But he won't fucking do it. And he's just going to jump immediately into probably playing Call of Duty or something. Because he's fucking guilty.
I'm not saying anything more about any of this.
What about showing the messages?
People want to
show the messages. Release the messages. Show the messages.
It's pretty normal. That's a normal request.
What are we in second grade?
I don't get it. It would be the quickest way for him to exonerate himself. He makes it seem like the courts gave him access to the messages.
Let me just remind you, I went through a multi-year, a big-time arbitration. Okay, and you discover a lot of stuff.
At this point, whatever NDA was in place has surely been broken, so show the messages, or at least describe them in detail. Show how they were taken out of context. He doesn't because odds are the messages are pretty bad. So what really is the truth behind Dr. Disrespect's ban? Well, with Doc's new testimony, we could actually paint a full picture. In 2017, while Doc was cheating on his wife, he messaged a 16 or 17-year-old in Twitch whispers. They may or may not have talked about meeting up, but everyone agrees that the messages were inappropriate and morally wrong to have with someone who was under 18.
I'm not denying the exchange of whispers, champs.
3 years later, in 2020, Twitch would launch an initiative where viewers could report allegations against streamers. Now, whether Doc's ex-partner manager encouraged the minor to file the report or not doesn't matter, because the messages exist, so Doc was banned and his contract was terminated. Contracts with talent tend to have a vague morality clause where if the talent does something deemed immoral, the company can terminate them. Doc sees this and he goes, oh shit, I'm about to be labeled a pedo, so he sues them.
There's a reason why we're suing the out of him.
He sues Twitch, and Doc takes the stance that he didn't do anything immoral because it wasn't illegal.
Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were illegal!
So now it's being argued between lawyers if Doc messaging a minor is immoral if the age of consent in her state is 16. If it's not illegal, how can it be a moral wrong?
That the messages did not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge.
That's crazy work. Just because it's not illegal doesn't mean it's... Just because... That's crazy. So for something to be morally wrong, it has to be illegal. Like, bro, I mean, cheating on your wife is morally wrong. It's not illegal, but it's morally wrong. What? Like, that's such a stupid defense.
Charge. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted they did not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way.
Twitch may have realized that this is uncharted waters and a potential PR nightmare, especially if they lose, so they pay him out. And they come to an agreement. No party admits to any wrongdoing. So finally, after all these years, that's more or less the full picture. And if you see any Dr. Disrespect fans that disagree with this analysis, link them to this timestamp. I am only citing Dr. Disrespect for these receipts. This is his story. So is he guilty? Yes. Is the reality probably worse than his retelling? Yes.
Fuck you and everyone who looks like you.
Doc's return stream surpassed over 3 million views, and this narrative that he purposely made himself look like a pedo as bait worked for him. His viewers have to be children. Someone explain to me how that makes 100%. Any sense. They were all over Nick Merck's channel, calling him a backstabber. Nick isn't smart enough to understand any of this.
Actual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
If this is true, if what he's saying is true right now, why does he not?
Bro's got the astronaut mic, dude. What the fuck? Like, I don't know if I like Nick anymore. What the fuck, dude? Are you serious, bro? You had me in the first half, big dog. I don't know if I like you anymore. Damn it. But either way, I paused initially because of an astronaut mic. How you gonna be a millionaire and you got a microphone that sounds like you're a goddamn pilot trying to talk through a fucking propeller wind? Like, Jesus.
Calling him a backstabber. Nick isn't smart enough to understand any of this.
Actual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
If this is true, if what he's saying is true right now, why does he not show everybody the whispers? I mean, it would be instant. Instant. Why can't we see the whispers? Because now he's saying that they're jokes. I mean, I make jokes all the time. And if I made a joke and people were saying that it wasn't, I would show everyone it's a joke. Confusing, man.
Pretty rational take. He's not showing the whispers yet because he's probably in the process of suing the fuck out of them. Doc is not suing anyone, and Doc is never going to show anyone the messages. If they exonerated him, he would have shown them by now.
Vibe that I'm getting from Doc is that original tweet he had put out, he's backtracking.
Yes.
And in that tweet, he had admitted to sending inappropriate texts or whatever to a minor. Those were his words. Not mine, not Tim's, not whoever. Now, he later deleted this tweet. Personally, I don't think it changes much. I know his premise and what he's dying on is that what he did was not illegal. And look, I get that, but at the end of the day, you messaged a minor and it was inappropriate. For me, this is not about legality.
This is not something that takes a high IQ to understand. Unless you think Doc should be able to sexually message 16-year-olds, he's in the wrong. This is not a backstab. Nick would respond to the hate tweeting, "This retard Dr. Disrespect is married with children, pushing 40 and admits to sexting a minor inappropriately." His words, not mine. So I cut ties because obviously that's inexcusable. Now I'm a shit friend for not having his back. Bunch of brain rot morons on this app. A Doc fan replies, "A real friend would have called him and talked to him, man to man." Nick says, "I've said multiple times he sent a text to the boys and I apologizing for us being dragged into it. Regardless, it doesn't matter." Ninja, Tim, Laner, they've all remained silent because once you take out the semantics, all Doc's response does is confirm the allegations. Even Myron, who defends Andrew Tate, has trouble defending Doc.
Like, yeah, this is fucked up. But I would say give him a little bit, like text him on the side, like, bro, let me see the messages.
Jeremy has been trying.
Yeah, fuck you, Myron. Fuck you, bro. He's such a spineless fuck. I hate him so much.
His best to defend Doc. He's basically had to make up parts of the video that don't exist.
The same employees also internally acknowledged that the messages were not sexual in nature. Okay.
Dr. Disrespect never even made that claim. I'm convinced that Jeremy never actually watched Doc's video. He read this guy's tweet and then decided to upload his opinion. Classic Jeremy.
A toast to the bad guy. The bad bitches, the bad times will pass by.
In conclusion, Doc returning to a successful stream was always going to be the outcome. If Cody doesn't have the messages, and the journalist doesn't have the messages, and the journalist's anonymous source isn't even willing to state their name, well then that leaves the door open for Doc to backpedal his statement and rewrite the narrative. The only reason he admitted to anything is because he thought the messages were going to come out. I called this over 2 months ago. Everyone agrees on one thing though, if the DMs don't leak, Doc is going to be able to set the narrative for his comeback.
Is there some bizarro world that he gets more popular?
I don't know.
Yes, it's happened. All because these journalists couldn't lock down a shred of evidence. He streamed to 80k people yesterday. I am convinced Doc is guilty because his own retelling of the story is him being guilty. If you still want to watch him, that's fine. If you still like him, that's cool. But let's not defend what he did.
I think that Doc is existing inside of the scope of ambiguity, and he's not using specifics because he's relying on people's trust in him and charisma for people to assume that he did the right thing and he didn't do something wrong.
That'll be it for today. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to check out Meta PC. And shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drain Kovacs, Necro Valley, Stefan Bildman, Abby Blackbird, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, TV Anthology Reviews, Hinklemore, Sennial Music, Lucas F, ET Automatic, Snoopy Poop Doop 2, Amir MLB, Deep Pocket Jew, Rooney Boo Boo, and the Mega Homies, Reynolds Hughes, Hellison, IGP, Your Taxi, Latchkey Goth Boy, Cybercade.
Okay, that just sounded like he just like let off a spell in my ear. Oh man, bro, Doc's guilty, bro. Like, listen, if you want to watch him. You weird, but you can watch him. You weird. God damn, bro. Like, again, bro, I and it's crazy. It's it's fucked up when you have me have to agree with when you make me have to agree with Asmund Gold, because he was right. That's the only way Dr. Disrespect is existing in on the internet right now, is literally through a fucking veil of ambiguity of just being like, yeah, legally I did nothing wrong, so therefore nothing immoral happened. Like, that's a crazy defense too, that he said that. Was like, well, if I'm not in jail, if I didn't get charged for a crime, technically, how is that immoral? And it's like, there's a lot of things that aren't crimes that are fucking immoral to do. Like I said, having an affair with your wife, pretty fucking immoral thing to do. Not a crime, but not a good thing to do. And it's just crazy that he still has so many fucking fans, bro. Like, here, actually, I want to see, is he still popular right now? Ooh. I want to see how popular he is right now. Let me see. Dr. Disrespect. Like, is he still popping? Bro, 22 hours ago, he streamed. He's got 500,000 views. Oh, sorry. You guys can't see this. I forgot. Sorry. Bro. Literally, bro. Look at this, bro. 500,000 views on fucking Warzone from like yesterday. He's got 500,000. He's got 50K views from a video he uploaded the other day. I mean, I'm sure these aren't as popular as they used to. I'm sure his videos aren't as fucking popping as they used to be. But 4 days ago, he had 384. Yeah, bro. Like, oh, bro. He still has 4 million fans. Yeah, bro. This is crazy, bro. I feel like, bro, at the end of the day, I feel like if people love you enough, they're dead ass willing to overlook so much bullshit that you do. And this is proof of it. This is crazy. Talk about fucking morality, bro. The internet's got no morals, dude. If they like you enough, they're willing to let you ride through anything. But yeah, man. That's it for this video. If you like this kind of content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'm going to leave the original video in the description below. So make sure y'all click that and check that out. And it's been me, Little Mackey Rob, and I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace out.